Thank you all for being with us. This is a joint committee meeting from Public Safety and Go. We have two items on our agenda this morning. The first one is the CIP FY21 through 26 Public Safety System Modernization, which of course it's government, so we have to call that PSSM. And I believe Susan Farag and Dr. Tragus will take us through the packet, please.
Good morning, Susan Farag, Council staff. As you indicated, this is the CIP review for the FY21 to 26 CIP. The total project cost recommended is $113 million, and that's reflecting an increase of about $2.7 million over the approved FY19-24 CIP. I just wanted to mention that this whole project was first approved in FY09, and over the years it's provided funding for several different sub-projects and the associated staff charges needed to upgrade and modernize various public safety systems. There's a list of completed sub-projects on your first page, but the ones we're going to talk about today, current sub-projects, are listed at the top of page 2, and that includes a new records management system for law enforcement, as well as the radio systems infrastructure project, which the Joint Committee and the Council discussed at length last summer. The recommended funding schedule is your first chart on page 2, and that's showing just the $2.7 million increase, and that's going to be expended over FY21 and FY22 if approved. I just wanted to go briefly through the two different sub-projects that they're currently working on. The first one is the RSIP, and that provides for the replacement of the public safety radio system. That excludes the radios but includes antennas and support systems. Again, as you know, there's a current 11-site radio system that provides communication among the 911 call center, police, fire, ambulances, and other users, and that was purchased in 1999. Its end-of-life date was 2009, and the current system was purchased in FY17. There had been discussion of a delay past the December 2020 cutover date due to various committee and council discussions with the executive. The council and the executive ultimately agreed to maintain that the original tower locations of the Bretton Woods and the ICC site at Georgia Avenue, and the December 2020 cutover date in order to make that. As far as the current status of the project, the total sub-project costs for this RSIP are approximately $50 million, and that closely aligns with the estimated cost provided in FY10, even though the system was not purchased until FY17. There is a chart on page 3 that shows you where the new radio sites will be located and how they interrelate. The new system is still on target to be completed in December 2020. DTS advises that the cutover in December will require all aspects of the remaining park and planning hearings, building permits, issuance, construction site work tasks, and various layers of radio system testing to proceed, quote, nearly flawlessly. Please see their latest update in the project status at circles 7 through 15. All civil work has been completed on several sites listed for you on 3 and 4, and project completion dates for the remaining sites are listed on page 4. There is one new application or two new applications being added to this sub-project, which is reflected in the $2.7 million increase. That reflects the purchase and implementation of an Astro advanced messaging and responder location solution, as well as new desktop radio consoles for the alternate emergency communications center. These advanced messaging apps is a text-based radio application that allows first responders to send and receive pre-programmed or free-form text messages to individuals or groups directly from their radios. And the responder location application will allow first responders to accurately status themselves when they reach an emergency and accurately and automatically report their locations when they are away from their vehicles. The executive advises this feature is critical for first responder safety, and the current systems that are in place right now only report on the location of the vehicles and not the actual responders. The desktop radio consoles for the alternate ECC site was actually part of phase 1 of the RSIP installation, which included the Core 25 Astro system, new dispatch consoles throughout the county, including both the ECC and the AECC. The consoles at the ECC have been replaced, and it's necessary to replace the ones at the AECC to simplify and streamline operations. There's supposed to be two redundant as identical centers as possible to minimize the possibility of any types of problems. And ECC staff train down there on a regular basis, and they also use that site as a backup if something is wrong or if there's scheduled maintenance or repairs being done at the primary site. The second sub-project in this, which has been delayed for several years, is the records management system.
If I could just interrupt for 1 second, I did want to make clear for those who are not following this, but the ECC stands for Emergency Communications Center, and the AECC is the Alternate Emergency Communications Center. So people are aware of what we are talking about. Go ahead, please.
Sure. The second project is the records management system. This had formerly been called the Law Enforcement Records Management System. It's related to the CAD replacement sub-project. Several years ago, Motorola had provided a proposal that the county thought met their needs. However, the whole entire project was delayed. The project kickoff was postponed because staff resources had been focused on the CAD replacement itself, as well as body cameras, the implementation of the body-worn camera program. The RMS team has now completed a request for expressions of interest, which resulted in a pre-qualified list of several vendors who can compete in the RFP process. The current records management system is eJustice. It's an Oracle-based database system that was acquired in 2004, and it has an expected lifespan of about 7 to 9 years. And while the system's been stabilized and it's expected to remain functional until a new system is implemented, the current system is unwieldy and it's inefficient for meeting current data reporting and analysis needs, such as submitted data to the FBI in a format required by NIBRS. Council staff also notes that the Office of Legislative Oversight, as part of their FY20 work plan, is reviewing police data to describe specific types of data that are collected by the police department, and additional information be available about that data capability once the report is complete. This system used to be linked to the jail system for records management, and the new system is also going to be used by the sheriff as well. And it would be very helpful if the Joint Committee could understand the complexities of the interrelatedness of all of these systems, and whether or not the new system that they're going out for bid could also be connected back to the jail system to capture in an efficient manner all of the booking information, that type of thing. Council staff's recommending approval as submitted of both projects, but also recommending that the Joint Committee consider reviewing the interoperability of the county public safety records management system's needs and how they could facilitate more efficient data collection and analysis with these other agencies, perhaps sometime early fall, if that's something that you wanted to look again at again.
I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Is that an agreement? Everybody's in agreement? Yeah, we're fine with that.
Okay. So is that a vote to approve the PSSM?
Well, not, first of all, I wanted to hear, we wanted to welcome the panel that's here, and if they have anything to add. If you could please identify yourselves.
Good morning. My name is Adam Kistart. I am with the Montgomery County Police Department. I'm the Director of Information Management and Technologies Division.
Good morning. Mike Knupple. I'm the PSSM Program Director.
Good morning. Gail Rober, CIO.
Allison Dollar, OMB.
Very good. Are there any questions of anything that Susan has told us? I think we've been aware of this for a while, maybe longer than we wanted to be aware of this. So is everybody okay with it? Very good. And then that is a vote unanimous. Okay? Thank you. Thank you all. I don't know if everybody's staying for the next one, I guess. And
Same panel.
Same panel. Okay. Please, Doctor. Are you going to handle this one,
Yes,
please?
I'm going to take you through the next one, which is the Master Lease Digital Evidence Data Storage. You approved a similar request some 2 years ago when you accepted a $750,000 item in the CIP that is being spent this year, in fiscal year 20, to provide data storage devices for the State Attorney's Office, and you're being asked to provide an additional $487,000 for machinery, if you will, storage devices for the ECU unit, which stands for Electronic Crime Unit. There are two things that I just wanted to point out, and then I'm very happy to provide to you a recommendation to approve it as is. One is that last year, when you reviewed the mid-year CIP addition for the State Attorney's Office, you asked the executive branch to provide a long-term strategic plan because we're beginning to drown in data. And these are, if I can call them, Band-Aid solutions. We buy additional hardware to store some more data while we have a big plan in motion. That big plan is still not in front of you. And one of the recommendations Susan and I are making is to request that you be provided with an update of this long-term strategic plan of how the county expects to manage the trillions of data bits that are flooding us from cameras, from bus cameras, from a whole variety of digital devices. The second issue that I put in front of you.
Let me interrupt
Yes.
on that, please. So what would be an appropriate time that we need to have that come back to us?
I would look to my friends in the executive branch. I suggested maybe in the fall of 2020. Would that be?
Is that okay?
Yes, I think.
Okay, then if we could,
It's complicated because, we now have the cloud, so everything can go to the cloud. There are no limits,
but not everything can go to the cloud, right?
and
This, yeah.
there's also dollar amounts
Right, yeah.
paid to the cloud providers. So it's a complicated equation. They're proprietary software, and there's also state and federal requirements for confidentiality and other things. So it's a very complicated equation. Yes.
Dr. Torrekes is accurate. I think the analysis would be related to the certification of the cloud decision that we make and making certain that it meets federal guidelines. And I think we also would want to know where our data is being stored geographically, those kinds of things. But it will be an analysis that I think could cover the entire county in terms of their cloud needs.
Should I go on?
Please.
There's only one other kind of significant policy issue that I wanted to bring to your attention. That is that several agencies in the county, agencies that you fund through your vote of the budget, for example, the school system, also has a similar problem of data. School bus cameras is one that comes readily to mind. All sorts of other agencies also have the same data storage problem. So in addition to having a strategic plan, which the Montgomery County government can very well do for MCG storage requirements, you may want to think about starting a discussion perhaps through the Interagency Technology Policy Coordination Committee to look at the long-term strategic issues around storing data for the county overall. It's a significant effort. It's not one to be undertaken lightly, but that's something that this joint committee should consider.
Go ahead, please.
Dr. Torrekes, is that something that the ITPCC could spearhead? One of the projects?
Again, I'd look to our CIO for a response to that. That's certainly within the remit.
Yes, I think we could look at the big picture again. 3 weeks in now, so I overall had some directives coming in the door that we needed to do some type of analysis, but I think that we could do it through the committee and come back in the fall with recommendations.
Great, yeah, that makes sense, because, they're all represented in that particular committee, so I think this would be really appropriate. Thank you.
Okay. Is that everything that you, I did want the three new people that came to the panel to please introduce themselves, please.
Good morning, Susie Renauer with the Police Department, Information Management and Technology Division.
Good morning, Peter Feeney, Deputy State's Attorney.
Good morning, Dave Seaman, IT Director for the State's Attorney's Office.
Very good. Do anyone on the panel, does anybody else have anything else to add? I think you can see we're heading in the right direction. Take yes as an answer. So is there anybody from the joint committees that would have anything to add? If not, are we good with what is being proposed? It is a unanimous vote. Thank you very much. Thank you all for being with us. We are adjourned.